Hey there, let me paint you a scenario. You just proposed a great idea in a planning meeting, only to watch days stretch into weeks as the team waits on a single sign-off. Frustrating, right? These days, you might have the tech to deploy an app to 12 regions in 90 seconds, yet your team is stuck waiting on approvals. That's the kind of lag that's a real momentum killer. So today I want to introduce you to a hidden skill that separates good delivery managers from great ones: decision routing. I'm going to break down how great managers master decision routing, why it supercharges flow and confidence, and even why it ties into my upcoming book, The Five Rings of Delivery. Think water, fire, wind, earth, etc. So what is decision routing? Think of your team as a road network and decisions as cars. Great delivery managers map out who needs to know what and when, effectively giving those cars the best routes so you never hit a dead end. When the routing is done right, decisions don't sit idle. They're instantly directed to the right person, just like a GPS would reroute the traffic around an accident. This intentional design keeps the momentum up, keeps morale high, and everyone knows where to go even under pressure. Now, scaling Agile is especially hard in large organizations. The 2023 State of Agile report noted that small, nimble teams often report big wins, more collaboration, better quality, stronger business alignment, but medium to large companies hit substantive barriers to adoption. And one of those barriers is slow decisions. In big organizations without clear decision routing, even tiny changes can get delayed by layers and layers of approval. That's why the top delivery managers spend extra effort in mapping out the decision network upfront to prevent those barriers from ever forming. Let me give you a real example. At a company I worked with, I worked on a debt advice project where every question about a new feature had to go through several layers all the way up to the director. It was like mailing a letter when you could have just emailed. Decisions were just stuck in that slow lane. One sprint, the team needed a quick data fix, but had to wait on a third level sign off. We literally sat idle for days and confidence took a real dip. Eventually, we realized that our routing was broken. Our delivery flow was completely choked. Once we rerouted that approval, in this case by delegating minor changes to a mid-level product owner, the fixes started flowing overnight instead of taking weeks. When decisions flow smoothly, delivery just accelerates, and research backs this up. So Google's Dora team emphasizes that continuous improvement and rapid feedback loops are key to high performance. In practice, that means that teams focus on learning and adapting rather than just hitting deadlines. Fast, clear decisions act like instant feedback. You try something, you see a result, you pivot. In the early example I gave, once the approval path was fixed, the team could iterate on a solution day by day instead of week by week. We got back to that agile mindset of quick feedback. Another win as a result of this is team confidence. When roles and decision paths are clear, people feel empowered instead of stuck. Everyone knows who can say yes to what. Atlassian even notes that DevOps metrics like Dora metrics themselves are continuous improvement tools. They help teams set goals and spot what to improve. And practically, what does this mean? It means that developers know exactly which product owner or which tech lead can greenlight which change. They make decisions and they just keep working instead of endlessly chasing for permission. And that clarity builds trust and keeps that project moving. Now, there is a leadership angle to this. Clarity for managers as well. McKinsey's research on agile organizations found that leaders should move from command and control to coaching roles. In more elite agile teams, managers are described as peers who serve architects, coaches, and catalysts. Yes, servant leaders. That shift only happens when the team can make routine decisions by themselves. The delivery managers I've seen who adopt decision routing end up with fewer escalations and happier teams because they've trusted people to decide locally. Leaders can then focus on a bigger picture instead of having to firefight every little question. So here's another story of mine from an AI delivery project in fintech. We were building a machine learning model to advise customers on debt, but initially every tweak had to go through a lengthy review board, even for trivial code fixes. A 1-minute update might sit in the for review column for days. You really kill that momentum. So I rewired that process. I empowered a small cross-functional sub-team to approve minor model updates, and the result was what used to take a week now took an afternoon. We literally cut our decision time down by 80%. The team went from daily stalling to daily shipping. And that's decision routing in action. And it shows it's not just theory. Decision routing literally shrank weeks into hours. The tech was there for fast deploys, but our process was the bottleneck. Once we flipped the switch on those decision paths, the workflow expanded. So let's circle back to our highways metaphor. Picture our project as a network of roads, the teams, and junctions, the decision points. If a key exit is closed, the cars just keep piling up. If it's open, the traffic sails through. Good decision routing engineers those paths. In the 5 rings term, this is the water ring, creating a clear current of decisions, and the wind ring, using that current to carry momentum. Ignite it with the fire ring's energy, rapid, proactive decisions, and you move like water down the river, fast and unstoppable. More of that in my upcoming book, 5 Rings of Delivery. So a quick recap before we wrap up. Decision routing means proactively designing your decision network so approvals and choices don't bottleneck the team. When you do this well, delivery flow smooths out, team confidence soars, and leadership is crystal clear on who handles what. So how do you start? First, map your decision landscape. List the type of decisions that regularly slow you down, features, architecture changes, compliance sign-offs, etc. And note who is involved. See where you can cut out handoffs and clarify it openly. Put together a simple chart or RACI board. You might create a table, for example, with columns for decision categories and rows for who is the approver or who is consulted. Put it on a wall or put it on a shared document so everyone sees it. Suddenly no one has to wonder, who is this? All right, final thing is treat it as feedback. After each sprint or release, ask your team, where did we stall? How long did the decisions take? Then tweak the routing and do it again. This is straight from Dora's playbook. Continuously find and fix your bottlenecks. Now, decision routing might sound like a behind the scenes detail, but it's a key leverage point for delivery. If this made sense and you want more no BS agile and delivery leadership content, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment with your own experiences. How do decision flows or jams impact your team? Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching. And remember, keep that flow alive.